Hello and welcome to another Tower of God video. And today we'll be looking at Dowon and Anaak, everybody's favorite characters. You know, right before the Annie. It's obviously bait, guys, please, okay. You know, low-key, if you're gonna skip, don't even watch this video. I will tell you to skip anyways, but, you know, I guess I gotta look after Dowon. I really hate Dowon, by the way. I'm so biased, I hate Dowon, so I'm sorry. Okay, I'll keep it unbiased, though. We're gonna look at Dowon, we're gonna look at Anaak. First thing to know, this is our first impressions, obviously, until they're in the game, and we don't really know everything. We don't know her ignition weapon or her ignition weapon, her you know, like her weapon, like special weapon, and her ignition in her revolution. So this is just a first impressions. I really hate Dowon, bro. Oh my god, bro. Anyways, let's look at these videos. I don't know about copyright, so I don't want to mess with any. But this is the video. I mean, this is like from the live stream yesterday, so if you didn't see that, you can see the video that I made it before this one. But yeah, this is cool. She has petals like in the story. Her whole thing is that she was like a hero, and then she was forgotten. You know, that's why she's called ForgetMeNot. Wow. Anyways, yeah, she got unsealed later, and then she made some questionable decisions after she got sealed. But that's the whole thing, is that she was against Zahard, and she was deemed a hero until they forgot about her, and now they just there's a whole story about her, but that's essentially her summary. Is that once she got sealed, people forgot about her and they started like disrespecting her and whatever. Anyways, so first thing to notice is that she is a blue unit. She's also a wave controller, so that's cool. Basically, she's a mage. She's basically a mage. She's a blue mage. But she's also physical, which is weird. But, you know, I mean, that kind of makes sense. The flowers, right? The petals, so. Either way. So let's look at her skills. Normally I do passives first, but I'm going to do specials first because the specials kind of help explain other of her abilities. So, special move, Flower Garden. Dowon becomes immune to status effects and summons Enshinsu spears across the field. Each spear deals N damage of her attack as damage to enemies range before exploding, dealing an additional damage to N percentage of her attack and knocking them down. Cool. Basically, she's effective. Basically, the status effect just means that she can use it without it being interrupted, right? I'm assuming that, okay, whenever they do things like this, it kind of, I'm not sure it implies, but it might just be like they're invincible. They might add that because normally they love adding invincibility to one of these moves, so I'm assuming it's probably going to be the special. And yeah, basically what you need to remember is that the enemies are hit with this passive called ForgetMeNot, right? And then basically that basically is it's a special that includes a passive in it. So when they get hit by it and they die and they still have this effect, people get a buff. Like blue elements get a buff. So it doesn't matter if the one kills it or someone else, but as long as they get killed with this passive up, they get a buff, which is important, her included, obviously. And also, and because it's blue allies element, you kind of want to have a blue allies team, which is really important when it links to her passive. And yeah, cool. Deals damage a lot, and then when they die with this passive, everybody gets a buff and they heal. Cool. Anyways, this passive is really small. Anyways, Dowon creates a whirlwind center on herself to deal N damage of her attack. I can read as damage to enemies in range. If the damage has ForgetMeNot, attack coefficient increases by N. Basically, the goal is to use her ultimate and then use this after. So, like, I'm not sure how her rotations will go, but if you have her rainbow, she'll ult, and then she'll use this, and then that will make it very easy for the enemy to die or help in. That's the damage dealing active. This is supposed to do a lot of damage, right? So cool. So already she has a lot of buffs, right? Whenever someone dies with this passive, she gets a buff, right? And then if someone dies, and if someone has if someone has the ForgetMeNot, the passive on this move will also increase with an attack percentage. So she's one of those units where, like, anyways, I'll explain her a little bit later. Anyways, here's her active again. Dowon's physical pace increases by n. That just depends on, that will be in game. We don't know how that's going to be, but obviously the more dips you have, the stronger it will be. It creates a ForgetMeNot barrier equivalent to n of her of attack by herself and the ally with the highest defense. I have a problem with this personally. I have a really big problem with this, but I'll get to that later. Okay, while the barrier is active, reduce the enemy's attack by n percentage when hit. We don't know the numbers for that. That's going to be a passive thing and an in-game thing. So normally decreasing the enemy's attack is okay. The thing is, like, once you get into a really high deficit, the attack is just so strong that this won't really do that much. And so, but I will say she might be really good for bossing. This feels good for bossing. This is good for bossing, good for PvP, because in PvP, people's attack, the deficit's not really a thing unless if you're trying to fight someone with a high deficit, which I don't know why. So this will be pretty good on PvP, because then, you know, the enemy team will do less damage. And also good for bossing, because obviously the less damage the boss does, the better, right? Yeah, this is what I have a problem with the allies with the highest defense, because you want to use her in a blue team, and when it comes to blue unit teams, the character in games in general, the character with the highest defense will probably be a warrior or a tank for the most part, right? Kaiser doesn't have a high defense, and Meshni doesn't really benefit from having a high defense anyways. So unless if you're using Escanor, which you shouldn't be using Escanor in big 2025, the only character that can see this being kind of useful in is with Uruk, because he will be a warrior unit. He does physical damage. I think he does physical damage. Yeah, he does physical damage. And then he also increased swiftness, but I'll get to team building later, but not many characters really, you know, interfere with, really need defense. Dude really has a high defense, the benefits of high defense in a blue team. So unless if we get a really good tank in the future, or like a really good warrior that outcreeps Uruk, this is not really that useful. But it is really good that the fact that she'll get a buff on her attack again herself. She'll get another attack buff with herself when this is active. So I think this will be really good with Uruk. This is an Uruk combo thing, right? I mean, it could be anything. It could also be Bomb too, but or like any other character that has high defense. But we'll see. Anyways, passives. Dowon's attack increases by n each time a blue ally loses a skill. See, another attack buff, right? Dowon, okay, which is cool. So like the more you want blue allies, obviously, so you can spam this passive. Dowon begins a battle as a forgotten hero, avoiding being targeted for n seconds. If no targetable allies remain before the battle ends, the effect will remove immediately. She awakens as a hero and gains immunity to she gains immunity apart from sealing. Okay, so basically this is good. Okay, this is really good because that stops assassins and which is really good. Doesn't stop AoEs. So like, let's say someone has an AoE and it hits her, that's too bad. But that's fine. As long as you don't get killed immediately by an assassin, that helps a lot. Like a lot. Okay. And then this is like, okay, this is just a thing where like, if there's no allies, if there are allies, if you have a field of allies that can't be targeted, she'll be targeted, basically is what it's trying to say. And or if all the allies die and she's the only one remaining, then this passive will disappear. But after the second cooldown and she awakens as a hero, she gains immunity. Apart from sealing, which is cool. That's great, I guess. But I have to get her care out of the way. I have a few problems with her. We'll see in game, obviously. But one, she is a blue mage unit like Bomb. Bomb doesn't do like the most amazing amount of damage, but he does a decent amount of damage. And Bomb brings a lot of utility to the team outside of damage too, where she seems to be like a buffed damage, right? The way that you want to use her is you want to use her with blue allies, obviously, and you want to use her with blue allies that spams their skills. So for example, the best unit that comes to mind with her would be Kaiser, basically, because Kaiser like spams skills, right? And also like she has like one of the moves is like whenever you activate the skill, and if she ults, then that cooldown for that move gets reset, and then you can use that skill again. So, and Kaiser's also physical. Kaiser and Dowon are supposed to be meant to be used together. So I guess, yeah, so this is, and then also you want her to use her with, I guess, Uruk, or a character with high defense, or so they can get that shield and they can get that attack buff. And Uruk does decent damage, but with his buff, he should do a lot more. Now for Dowon as a character, she's not going to start off very strong, but she's going to get stronger as the round progresses, which is why she's got that increases by N each. That's why she got this, right? That's why she got the attack increases each time if there's a blue ally. Because the way that it works is that she's not going to do a lot of damage at first. I mean, not this. I mean this. Sorry. So she's not going to be doing a lot of damage at first, right? So, but she needs to build up that damage with this, because you want other allies to use that skill first for her to get a buff off of that. With the ultimate skill, right? Like this, because he meets each 3 days damage before exploding. Okay, no, not this part, sorry. Each time it marked allies, blah blah blah. Each time a skill kills, every time an enemy is killed with this marker, she gets a permanent stack on their attack and on their attack. So you get stacks off her passive if a blue ally uses a skill. I don't think it's gonna be that high, but I think this stack is gonna be crazy. So you have 2 stacks of attack over here. This attack has an increase of attack percentages based on the fact that they get hit, they have that passive. So this could do a stupid amount of damage, including the fact that you get a stack over here and a stack over here. And then with the physical pierce as well too. Physical pierce is really good too. So that's obviously going to do more damage. It also increases N of her attack on herself and the ally with the highest defense. So this barrier increases her attack again. So you have attack buff here. Alright. Yeah, okay. Let's go from scratch. You'll get this first, most likely. If you have her rainbow, you'll get this second. Right? So that's 2 stacks, right? And then you'll have also this in between, either before the ultimate or right after the ultimate. You'll have something like this with the barrier. And then if you have this last, you also get a buff with this again, right? So she's one of those units that you really need to stall enough for her to build up damage for her to kill people, which is why they gave her this avoid being targeted. So that's the thing with her. She's going to be a huge damage dealing unit, but it's also based on how big those percentages are going to be. And so, yeah. I will say with her is that she doesn't seem very ult reliant, so I don't really think that you need to rainbow her. Well, you always should have rainbow characters, but at the very least, she's at least usable before she maxes out being rainbowed. And like I said, if I could think of teams for her, it would probably be the ideal team for her, right? It would be her, it will be Kaiser, it will be Uruk, it will be maybe Mashni for a tank, or like Escanor. I guess you could try Escanor. I don't know. I don't think Escanor's a good idea. But you have like a tank, so maybe like Data Mashni, and then whatchamacallit, that Gustang supporter, like the Gustang supporter, she's really good too, because she increases a lot of attack. You want to have allies with swiftness, which is why Uruk and Kaiser will be a really good thing, because you can spam their special skills as much as possible, which is cool. Overall, she's either gonna be doo-doo water or really, really good, but I promise you she's not gonna be as good as Gustang when it comes out. Maybe this is Copium, I don't know, but I don't think she'll be as good as Gustang when it comes out. So just keep that in mind. I would be really, really careful on summoning for this character anyways. Also, it doesn't help the fact that she's also a mage blue unit, and Bomb kind of fills that role as well. I will say that Dowon is more of a team player than Bomb does, is in the sense of like, no, Bomb does more for the team, but I think Dowon has more cohesive with the blue team than Bomb, because I think Bomb can fit him anywhere and he'll work. With Dowon, she's specifically for the blue team, but I think for the blue team, she brings a lot, because a lot of characters with the blue team has swiftness, and a lot of them are physical, and she's a physical mage. And because she's a physical mage, her evolution is going to be pretty good. So she's one of those units that if you do decide to invest in her, she'll be pretty viable. but I just don't think that you should be summoning on her, especially when Gusen comes out. And also, this character is going to be there for like a month, so you have a lot of time to choose on whether you want to summon on her or not. But I'm sure she'll be really, really strong. It's Netmarble. They're gonna make her like viable in some way, shape, or form, especially with a character that holds no hype. Yeah, she's gonna be decent. But that's her overall. With her moves, I don't know what to pick for her in terms of ignition weapons. I think that her ignition weapon might be good with like maybe Sundance, maybe L's always like decent, I guess, if you don't want to get hit with anything. L is alright, but she doesn't. I don't think there's a really specific ignition weapon for her that really works. I think a lot of ignition weapons will be decent for her. The reason why I say Sundance is because Sundance, I know it focuses a lot on physical, physical like attack and like physical attacks, and but the thing is, she can get so much percentages of her passive with like this attack increase, and she gets like 200% attack increase extra added to her basic attack. So attack buff here, attack buff with physical pace here, attack buff here, and then whatchamacallit, and then another attack buff here if you get a kill, or a blue ally gets this. So she'll be doing a lot of damage with Sundance, and I guess L is also pretty good too. You don't get hit, increased swiftness, make it easier for her to use her ult, you know. But that's generally her, right? Now we can go to Anaak. So it's kind of funny. I don't know why Anaak is a red unit again, but that's whatever. I guess we can look at her video as well too. Okay, so Anaak is. I'm assuming this is the one. There's only one instance where she really throws anything, and it's during the workshop battle right before she fights Hats at the Archimedes or whatever it's called. But like before she fights Hats, she throws a spear. So she throws something in there. It might be her sword, I don't know, but it's been so long that I'm forgetting. But I'm just trying to think, like, they made a whole ass character based on that is kind of crazy. I will not lie to you. So I think if they can do that, they can make anything. they can make any character. I'll take it back with what I said with Enmiyu. But either way, with her we can go through her passive. She's a very basic character, but I think she just she's basic character. Anaak's basic attack targets the furthest enemy. She throws a spear that pierces those in the path. That means it'll hit. That spear, if it goes through, it won't go through someone, it'll hit them. Cool. Target has a swiftness reduction for N stacks. This attack cannot miss. Swiftness reduction is always good because it will stop the enemy from doing any skills at you. Especially once you go to high deficit, they're all going to be rainbowed, and with hard mode, they'll probably all be rainbowed, and they'll probably be at some point, and they'll probably have this is good. Stopping them from using the swiftness is always really good. And that creates a barrier equal to N of her attack for N. That's we don't know how tanky that's going to be. Her physical and magical resistance increases by N, and swiftness increases by N. Well, this is actually really good. For SSR, it's really good because it increases her ability, it increases her swiftness, which means that she'll be able to use her actives and passives quicker, and also make her basic attack faster. So this is really good. You want swiftness, it's right. And then Anaak throws her spear in the furthest enemy, dealing N of her attack as damage increase. Cool. Locking them for N seconds with each hit and reducing defense by N. By N percentage, right? Which is good. Blocking them is good, always good, and just keeps reducing the defense is great because you want her basic attacks to hit them and they'll hit automatically regardless. So that's good. And also it helps, reducing the defense helps enemy team, us like kill the enemy quicker. And that becomes immune to status effects and releases a blast of heat on the furthest enemy. This just to make sure it doesn't get cancelled. Dealing N% of her attack as damage to all enemies in this path and blocking HP recovery. She's kind of similar to Kroon in the sense that she decreases swiftness on the enemy team. I forget if Kroon even blocks HP recovery, but I know that they're very similar in kits. It feels very similar in kits. It doesn't have the fact that they both has throw spears. One's an assassin, obviously, but he has a spear. But Either way, the way that I view Anaak is that at least she doesn't seem like she's going to be a damage dealing unit. She seems like a support, like a fifth option, which is kind of what SSRs should be anyways. You don't want her to be a damage dealing unit. The way that she works, a lot more simpler than Dowon. You just want her to spam basic attacks as much as possible to have their swiftness reduction is this done as quickly as possible. That's what you want. You want to spam attacks so that can be done, and because it touches every enemy, this reduction is AoE basically, or it could be AoE based on where they're positioned. And the reason why it's furthest away is because you want this spear to hit as many enemies as possible. So honestly, that's pretty good. She also like buffs her, and she also increases swiftness too. So honestly, an L set plus this will be pretty well. And because she's got the barrier, she has a little bit of survivability. Obviously, this is not as good as an SSR plus because of stats and whatever, but it's fine. This is really, really good. You want her to survive as long as possible regardless. And then locking them too. So she locks. She also reduces their swiftness, and then also she stops HP recovery, which is really, really good. So the way so she's just you put an L set on her, you spam her passive, and then while she's doing that quick spamming her passive, it'll make it easier for her to use her ult, and make it easier for her to use everything, making it so that she just helps the team out. So she's like a sub DPS, not even a sub, I guess sub DPS / support, where in the red team, for example, let's say you need a fifth option, she'll be a great fifth option because she stops the enemy team. Well, she slows down the enemy team from doing anything. My problem with Anaak is that red is already so loaded. Like, it's actually insane because you had the collab event, right? Gusting is also going to be a red mage. Okay, then we also have Ulrich. Violet, from like still really viable after he got his buff. We have Ivankel, who's also like a really good damage dealer. We have Jensen, who's also a really good damage dealer. Vincent's okay. He kind of fell off a lot, but Vincent is an okay option. We have both Huas, who have really good support, also there too. Like, red is so stacked, and then also Xia is a really good red unit. So the red is just so packed that I don't know where you'll fit Anaak in, but we'll see. She might be really good, but it really just depends on how much damage she does, but just like this, her swiftness, how much she removes the swiftness from the enemy, and also what's the other one? The reducing damage will be kind of okay, well, decent too. But yeah, overall she seems decent. Like, she seems like she'll have value regardless, and the fact that she can be put in any team unlike Dowon makes it pretty good, right? Meaning that, so I think she'll be a decent option, or a pretty good option. We'll have to see in game, but I remember being pretty whatever on Kroon, but I kind of really like Kroon, and since she's kind of similar to him anyways, I might like her as well, but we will see. Because she can be put on any team, I feel like as long as she'll be at least usable in every single team. But yeah, I think she's pretty good. Either way, please skip, guys. Please skip, or at least wait. The banner's gonna be there for a long time. The banner's gonna be there till February. Okay, you have time to wait. Okay, if I were you guys, I would summon on the Gusting banner, or at least wait. Okay. Here's what you guys do. Okay, you wait until that information drops. Okay, Gusting's information drops. Okay, when his information drops, you still have like a day, so you can choose to either summon on Chumray or summon on Gusting. Okay, once that's done, okay, let's say if you don't have them rainbowed, try and rainbow them. I don't care if you think these guys are cool. Rainbow Gusting and rainbow, or Chumray. Remember both if you got resources, but try to rainbow at least one of them. If you have them rainbowed and you don't care for the other, or you have two rainbows, then I guess you can summon on Dowon and Anaak. But honestly, just save your resources. save your resources until you know the information of every single character, because Anaak is decent. You'll probably get her from the tower anyway. You'll get most of her dupes from there regardless. And then also Dowon is heavily blue reliant. She also has another mage counterpart, bomb, and bomb just brings a lot to the team and does pretty decent damage. This character just seems all damage. This character is all damage, but honestly, damage is how should I say? Damage is creepable. Okay, and she's gonna get power creep by Gustav, who's also a mage damage dealing unit. Okay, so just be careful. But yeah, that's the video. Peace.